What's good, YouTube? This Dion Smooth from Smooth's Monaco Arts, and how's everyone's night doing today? And guys, I would just like to say that I want to speak on Anthony Smith, UFC's Anthony Smith, light heavyweight, or heavyweight, um, dude. Just scary situation where Anthony Smith woke up with basically some cracked out, bath salted, whatever this dude, some crackhead, whatever this piece of shit was in, broke into this man's house, putting him and his children and his kids at risk, right? Um, Basically, Anthony Smith woke up with this crackhead in his house and took him to the ground, beat the shit out of him, elbowed him, kneed him, and guys, he said, and this is Anthony Smith, right? UFC heavyweight professional fighter, trained fighter, right? Basically said he was kneeing this dude, elbowing him, punching him, um, and this crackhead just kept fighting, right? Just kept fighting. Scary shit, right? You're getting punched by a a heavyweight UFC fighter, and you feel no pain. Like, this is the thing with martial arts. In any martial arts, it all has, um, and this is what separates real combat from combat sport. And this is what every martial artist should realize, that um, even if you are a trained fighter and a martial artist, you've got to be trained for any and every self defense situation, because in this situation where you had Anthony Smith um, going toe to toe with some crackhead, he's punching, he's elbowing this crackhead, and nothing's happening because this crackhead feels no pain. And this is what I'm saying. You have to be a well-rounded martial artist in any self-defense situation, because you're not always going to be in an octagon, as in this situation. In this situation, jiu-jitsu, if you would have put him in some kind of darce or a rear naked choke, and just choke this guy till he just passed out, you know what I mean? But he said that this crackhead dude or kid was so strong, all he could do was just kind of just manhandle him and keep him stabilized until the cops got there, because all his punches were doing nothing, you know what I mean? So, us, even as martial artists, man, we got to be prepared for these kind of situations. And in these kind of situations, um, he would have been better off just shooting this motherfucker, like, just shooting this crackhead, in these situations, man, because when you got a guy who's on these type of drugs where they feel no pain, crack, um, meth, whatever it is, sometimes your training is not going to be effective in those kind of situations. So you're going to have to resort to, other self defense, other self defense ramifications. You know what I mean? AKA gun fu, if you know what I mean. So this is the thing with self defense and in combat sport. Not every situation is just gonna, you know, like a lot of these karate kempo guys, they just think, oh, train for the one hit quitter. I'm just gonna punch some dude in the face and he's just gonna get knocked out. No, you don't know the situation. This dude may be on crack, some kind of drug, some kind of mind altering substance. Like, you got to be ready for this, you know. Um, I had a crackhead break into my house a few years ago, and I ankle picked the guy, right. Snapped his ankle in half, and he kept coming, and it shocked me. I'm like, I just cracked this dude's ankle in half, and he's still coming at me like some kind of fucking zombie. It wasn't until I grabbed a crowbar and smashed it into his throat region here that he knocked out. And that's when it dawned on me, man. Holy shit. This self defense thing in martial arts, it goes beyond. Because you don't know the situation and what state of mind your opponent's in. And if they're on some type of drug. So I just say that, man, you got to be prepared, you know. Scary situation, man, for Anthony Smith. You know, it definitely brought some enlightenment to the self-defense and combat sport because just to realize, man, that this stuff is possible and that you have to be ready for any kind of situation. And just because you're a UFC trained fighter doesn't mean everything you have is going to work against that self-defense situation. So, man, in this crazy world we live in, man, just be ready, be prepared, stay safe. Smells Monaco Nights.